in high school, one of the associate pastors at my church said, "Hey, come into my office. I want to ask you some questions," right? At first I was like, what does he want? Did my mom put him up to this? And he just asked me this question, "Hey, what's it like to be in high school and what's it like to be cool?" And even though it was a little weird, I realized as we dialogued, he had no other agenda other than to get my perspective. Hey, maybe you remember this video.
Empathy is learning how to feel with others.
It's the effort you put into trying to understand
why people think the way they do,
and what's meaningful to them.
Empathy is sacred space. So there's this story in the Gospels where Jesus is on the way to heal this prominent religious person's daughter, and on the way, he's surrounded by a crowd of people, and this woman grabs the back of his robe. She has internal bleeding, and as she does, she's healed. The text, Mark 5:33, says she told him the whole truth. In other words, Jesus listened to her whole story. And I can't help but imagine that that's what God is like. Like God takes space for us so that we just can tell him our story, so that he can hear. And when we do that on behalf of other people, we embody the very character of Christ. So I used to train people in youth ministry, and one of the things I would say is always remember the significance of the insignificant. And what I meant by that was that sometimes just creating a hospitable moment for someone, or offering them some encouragement, or just a compliment, or listening to their story was more or is more significant than the Bible talk or the worship music or even the pizza. I, like you, hope that to be a church that is for young people. That's not to neglect other generations. It is to suggest that that's a unique call for Bidwell Pres because of our geographical location next to Chico State in downtown, because of our long history with young people, that's what God is calling us to do. But in order to do that, we got to listen, and we got to practice listening, because sometimes that is the most significant act of what begins a conversation about what the good news is all about. So imagine, rewind to your own journey as a young person. Who helped you surge ahead? And now imagine a conversation with a young person you know in your world, or like in the congregation, or in or out of church, really doesn't matter. Think about sitting down with them. It would go something like this. You would say, "Hey, thanks for meeting. Our church is trying to understand young people better, so thanks for being a part of this. And there are no wrong answers." That's the empathy project. Empathy is a powerful practice because it bridges the gap between generations and helps us become a listening church. It's part of what ministry is. We listen to God, we listen to others, and we can make a difference in the world today. So thanks for listening. Thanks for doing this. Grace and peace.